Alright, welcome back to Only Divergences. In this video, I will be updating my ongoing coverage of Palantir, stock ticker PLTR. For new viewers, we focus only on technical analysis in this channel. If this is the type of pure, clean technical analysis you're looking for, then subscribe. I'm not just providing commentary here, I'm actively testing a hypothesis around technical analysis, so let's get to it. Today is Sunday, October 10th, 2021. We are taking a look at Palantir stock. This is another story of, meat on the bones and relative risk reward ratio. Okay, I discussed this in the last Palantir video. Watch it and note what I said, but more importantly, why I came to those conclusions. I'll put a link on the top right, but also in the description here. So, last video was published here, and we noticed that the stock was in a precarious position. We had potential bearish divergence here. We had a high, and then we had another high, and momentum seemed to be waning here. And it was not a good idea to go long at this point because of a low relative risk reward ratio. We have already come up very high, and the potential of this continuing relative to it falling was very low. On the hourly, we saw a negative divergence. Let me just pull it up here. So you can see here we had a high, and we had a second high where momentum was lower than the previous momentum high here. And we were already extended, so there was limited immediate upside, and that's exactly what we expected, and that's exactly what happened. If there's one thing to take away from today's video, it is that you have to manage expectations. I had a few people commenting, Palantir to the moon and all that in the previous video. And let me tell you, that is worse than gambling. It's like you're a cheerleader for a stock and you're not engaged in critical thinking. And unfortunately, if you were not able to see past the fantasies of going to the moon and believe in the technicals, you're now down 20% from that point. In fact, more than 20%. Furthermore, I recall there was some news on Palantir. I think it was this day. After hours, it shot up after hours. Well, look, it gapped higher and then it collapsed throughout the course of the day. Okay, you can't even see that move. And why? It's because the technicals would not allow it. This is not a setup for a huge bullish move higher. Maybe a move like this, but then it would have to get baited. So unfortunately, this most recent attempt to move higher and the fall afterwards comes at a terrible time, as the stock must now either hold at the 200-day moving average. You can see here, we broke down below it before. We somewhat held it here, and we're still holding well above it here. But if it can't hold this 200 period and move higher, then it's likely going to continue to roll over here. There's really not much to say here. Okay, even on the hourly, we can take a look. And the one thing that I want to point out, which I think I did in my previous video, is that Palantir was trading above and below its 200 period moving average on the hourly, right? So you can see it's below it here, this orange line, and then it moves above it for some time, and then it moves below it for some time, and then it moves above it, and now we've moved below it. Now we can say that it is likely that the stock is not done spending time below this 200 period moving average, because it would need to basically move like this in order for that to happen, and I think that that's very unlikely. So that would mean that price does have to come down, or at least come down more before it's capable of mounting a move higher. Now, can we expect bounces along the way? Of course. Of course, we had one. It was an after hours gap here. There was some news announcement or whatever, but there will be bounces. But do you want to risk trading them? Are there high probability trades that are going to come from this pattern right now? The answer is probably no, because any trade will likely be small or volatile and given up right away, as we can see with this one here. So overall, this means that Palantir is in a very precarious position, similar to the previous one, but more so than my previous video, because it now has to hold here and looks like it may not. And if it does not, then you should expect at least a retracement of this move down here to 17, unfortunately. Look, the easy money on the long side has already been made. and we can learn from this. But right now it does look like price will continue to deteriorate, meaning less opportunity, and any moves higher we have to assume will be faded similar to this until we can mount an actual real higher low divergence, something to get us out of this. And unfortunately, I think that means that we will retest the lows. So because of that, I will likely only update Palantir in 2 weeks, as I suspect limited material potential and therefore no need to focus on it until that time. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative. I'll see you in the other videos that I'm putting out today or after the close on Monday. Take care.